All right, guys, here's an intro to a new series I'm working on. So I'm going to start throwing all of my drills on YouTube. It's in a wider format so you guys can view it better. And then I'm going to explain the drills and how they're game related and how you can tweak them to work on, certain game specific situations. So right now we're just focusing on the pure back pedal to crossover transition. All right, so this is for very beginners. So I did a camp in Europe. All these guys are new to football. I think these two have been playing for 3 years. Never played football before the day. Never played football before today. Never played football before today. All right, so as you can see, he's really trying to study this guy who already has his stance. So none of these guys know anything about football for the most part. All right, so first thing you got to teach is your back pedal. As far as stance, low shoulder, shoulders over toes. I would say he has a good stance. I like his stance here. He can drop his butt a little bit. His shoulders need to be lower. And he was just heavy footed. Again, he doesn't really know what's going on. But I'm going to correct these guys as we go. I'm sorry. So first and foremost, have him started off in a nice smooth back pedal, right? So I taught him the scooch read step. So if you see scooch, scooch, all right, so you're reading the three-step drop. All right, so three-step drop will tell us quick game. Anything beyond that, we're going to get into our pedal. All right, so you don't have to read step. You can just start them in a normal pedal. But I like the read step so we can key on quick game. Have them in a pedal for about 20 yards, and you want to see if their pad level raises up, right? So the reason we go 20 yards is I want to see if pad level raises up. Most of them do. So if you see right here, he kind of starts high and he gets high. See how he gets higher? So you want to watch for their pad level. If they're raising up, you want to correct them. Hey, keep your butt low, keep your butt low. So this is just reinforcing that in your back pedal. You got to stay low, even when you speed it up. I don't have the tempo pedal, but I would do tempo pedal after this, okay? So if you're the coach and you have a ball, if the ball's low, they're in a nice slow control pedal. If the ball is high, so if you raise the ball high, they speed it up, all right? So again, you go from normal back pedal to tempo pedal. Ball low, nice control pedal. Ball high, speed it up. Ball low, slow. Ball high, speed it up, all right? After that, I have them in a crossover. Okay, so when you backpedal, you transition, you're transitioning to a crossover. So I wanted them to get comfortable with that technique and how it feels to be in a high speed crossover before we add the transition. So foot on the line, eyes on the line, that's their man, that's the hip that they're focused on. And I teach to have a low front shoulder. The reason why I want a low front shoulder is if you think about it, if you have let's say your back shoulder is the low shoulder, all right, that means you're leaning backwards. That means you're pretty much only going to be able to play the fade, and when it comes to breaking down, you're going to have to drop your pad level and then transition forward. If that front shoulder is already leaning forward and you maintain your low pad level, all you have to do is stop your feet and your body is going forward before you even initiate a forward movement. So I have them again, foot on the line, eyes on the line. The line is the hip, the line is the man, and I'm in a full speed crossover for 20 yards. From here, we would flip it, so their left foot would be on the line, and then their chest would be facing this way, and then we're in a full speed crossover that way. So I would do this once each way so they get the hang of it. If you want to do more, okay, but they're going 20 yards. And again, you want to watch for a raise in pad level. Naturally, we're going to raise up. No one's perfect. But if I were to coach these guys, I think he raises up a little bit too soon here. He's almost standing up. I think he does a good job of maintaining his low pad level the entire time. That's what you want. And then you got to get comfortable running and looking in different direction. A lot of them, if you say just do this drill crossover, they're going to get into a karaoke, especially these guys. Again, I'm in Europe. These guys have never been taught anything. All right. So when I told them to do a crossover, most of them were doing karaoke. So the way I teach is, hey, walk towards this fence right here. All right, so you're walking towards that fence. Now, as you're walking towards that fence, turn and look back behind you. All right, so just give them a visual representation on what it is to run into a crossover, not a karaoke. If you're dealing with more experienced guys, you probably don't run into that problem. All right, but again, we're coaching pad level, being able to run full speed with our eyes back on our man. From there, we're going to go into the pedal to crossover transition. All right, so now that we've done the pedal and the crossover separate, now it makes more sense for them what I want. All right, so in my pedal, again, we're taking our read step, nice smooth pedal, and then once we transition, so the man eats up our cushion, we're going to transition into the crossover. Now we're right into the second drill we did. All right, pedal, crossover. All right. And you can teach to swing the elbow or just flip your hips, whatever you want to teach. But for me, when I break the drills down in half, so pedal crossover, and then just tell them to do this, they naturally get the hang of it. So I don't have to teach the elbow. All right. So if they're comfortable with the crossover, then they're most likely going to be able to transition a lot smoother. Now from here, we're going to kind of do a combine drill, if you will, where they pedal, flip your hips, flip your hips. All right, so this is a very common drill. So once they, again, go from pedal to crossover and then pedal crossover transition, this is step 4. Now we can get them to open up both ways. Again, emphasizing staying low. All right, flip, try to keep that low front shoulder. He has a good, decent low front shoulder here. And then when it's time to flip the other way, we're just going to flip and don't think about it too much. Again, swinging the elbow, picking that knee up, whatever you want to do. We just want to get them comfortable with the different transitions, again, without compromising pad level. I think he does a decent job here. As you can see, as he's flipping into a second crossover, he doesn't really raise up, all right? But I think we could be a little bit lower here. Again, I'm a stickler, but they're naturally going to raise up as long as he's comfortable and there's no wasted movement. See how he kind of trips here, all right? But he maintains balance. That's all we're working on. Again, this is day 1 working with these guys, and I think this would be good for beginners. From here, we're going to do the 7-5-3 drill, all right? So we're all receivers. These guys are lined up about 5-7 yards from the cone, and all you're going to do as a receiver is you're just going to jog straight. All right, so we all have a leverage, I believe. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so this is the leverage. So we want to be inside leverage. I teach 7-by-1. So that's why the first drill, part of this drill, you start at 7. So 7 yards off, 1 yard inside. And we want to be able to read step while reading their speed, staying in our pedal as long as we can before we flip. So now we have a live hip to read, okay? And you'll notice that when they do it without a receiver, they're going to look better. But then when you add live bullets, a lot of them will panic and they'll raise up, okay? So the key here, stay in your pedal until about 1 yard. You want to speed up your pedal as he gets closer, as he breaks your cushion. And then at the last second, about 1 yard, we want to transition into our crossover, eyes on the hip. All right, so if we're judging these 3 DBs, again, he's the more experienced one. He does a good job of having a nice stance. Again, low butt, ankle bend, knee bend, shoulders over your toes. Read step, back pedal, and then transition. You see how he transitioned, doesn't raise his pad level. His eyes are still on the hip. We don't know if it's a fade, a dig, a comeback, a curl. We have to be able to break as soon as we flip our hips, because most receivers are taught as soon as they flip your hips, that's when we want to break. So we got to be able to break and transition, which is why the crossover transition from our pedal is so huge. This is Christian right here. He's new again. So I expected him to have this problem. We start low. We're in a decent stance here, but as he breaks our cushion, you see how we rise up. All right, so we're watching again here. Pedal, pedal, and then we rise. You see how we're pretty much standing straight up here. All right, and I would say a lot of them are standing straight up. keep that shoulder down. Keep that shoulder down. Don't panic when we get into our crossover. So that's how you would coach it. Valdemar over here, a soccer kid. He actually tried out football, doesn't even play football anymore, but he does a decent job of flipping with me and keeping eyes on the hip. So run this from 7 yards, have a live receiver run at them so they can have a live hip to read and be able to judge speed and know when to flip, because a lot of guys will ask, when do I flip my hips? It's a feel. 2 to 3 yards, all right? But the good ones will stick in there on the transition. Here we have it from 3 yards. I don't have the 5 yard mark, but again, do it from 7, 5, and 3 yards. This is just to practice that 2 to 3 yard cushion, all right? So when you don't know when to flip, to answer that question, most times you can stay in there longer than you think, all right? So this is just him practicing, me breaking that cushion, and then staying in there to the last second, flipping on the hip. And you see how he kind of puts his arm here? That's okay. I don't like the Heisman. I don't like transitioning and then trying to get hands on the receiver. I'm very big on just flipping, remaining in phase, and then we can start messing with them. Then we can start messing with that near hand, jabbing at the hip. We can even put hands on that shoulder if we want. All right, so I don't like the Heisman. I don't like transition to getting hands. I think it slows us down. And a good receiver, if he transitions and tries to put a hand on me now, if I grab that wrist, he's going to be off balance and I'm flying by him. So I like being in control of our body first before we start to try to influence the receiver. And here's me doing it. Again, it's from 3 yards. And this is for the older guys so you guys can see how it would translate. Yes, this is a beginner drill, but this is something everyone can do as an indie or warm-up. I'm at 3 yards. He's going to break my cushion. All right, but I'm maintaining my fast pedal. So this is where the tempo pedal comes in as well. All right, so we're kind of slow as he's getting off the ball, but he's speeding up. Speeding up doesn't mean I need to just automatically open. I can speed up my pedal. And then once I'm sure, all right, so he's not running that comeback. He's not running that dig. Then I can go ahead and flip my hips and run with him there. So again, if we bring it back to the beginning, all right, we have the pedal. So start him off with the pedal. Nice smooth pedal, 20 yards, 2 times. Then bring them back in a tempo pedal. Low ball, slow, high ball, fast. Low ball, slow, high ball, fast. From there, we get into our crossover transition. Eyes low, low front shoulder, foot on the line, eyes on the line, signifying the hip. All right, full speed crossover, don't raise up. Low front shoulder, 20 yards. And then we would start them 20 yards with their chest facing that way. Then we put it together from here. Pedal, transition, keeping that shoulder low. You do it twice each way from here. And then throw in the double hip flip for fun. Flip, flip. All right, body control, not raising up, stay in balance. And then finish with the 7-5. All right, so we're in man coverage and off coverage. We're 7 yards off, 1 yard inside. Have a live guy run at him. Stay on your pedal. Transition with the eyes on the hip from 7 yards. Do it from 5 yards. And then finally finish it from 3 yards. So I hope this helps. Again, this is for beginners, for young guys, but you can also do this as an indie warm-up to better your off coverage. Thanks for taking a look at the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm dropping a ton of DB drill content with voiceovers so I can explain the why and how they translate, because again, this should always translate.